There are about 2 dozen photographs of trees in this exhibition that spans around about 2 decades or 25 years of my photographing oak trees in the locality around Sudbury, where I now live. So they started round about the year 2000, and they started as monochrome prints. So if you look at this image, if you can see it on screen, there are a lot of monochrome pictures with a few colour additions. Now, when that was first made, around about the year 2000, it was entirely monochrome, and it was made from using platinum or palladium, making light-sensitive salts to coat sheets of fine art paper by hand. The way I made it was photographing this tree and then all the other trees you see in the show over a period of a few weekends or several days, several visits to each individual tree, making black and white photographs on 35mm film. And I would have normally taken like 1 or 2 rolls each visit, so you'd get 72 frames each visit. And I would take them back, develop them in the studio. I used to make my own developer too for this particular process. And I would cut off the sprocket holes, cut off all the information from the edges of the film, and then lay them out on light boxes. So here we've got the matrix of negatives that I was referring to when we were looking at the print. So I hope you'll be able to see it clearly on screen. That there are probably around about 150 individual 35mm negatives, all stuck together with sellotape. Very, very crude, very hands-on, not the sort of thing that photographers would normally do, stick tape all over their negatives. But when I was making it, I would have put different clusters of photographs or negatives together, looked at them on the light box, taken them out, put others in. So it was a very fluid, flexible process that took place over a period of time. And then at a certain point where I couldn't make any judgments, because as you will realise or see, I hope, that this is in negative, so that when it's printed, everything gets reversed. There comes a point when you can't make a judgment without doing a print. So at a certain point, I would have then done a print. And as I've said before, this would be sandwiched against a sheet of fine art paper that was coated with platinum or palladium light-sensitive salts. It would have been exposed under a light box for half an hour and then developed. It would normally take a good 3 hours to make each individual print. And remember that when the print is finished, what one actually sees on the surface fibres of the sheet of paper is metallic platinum or metallic palladium, pure and simple. So that was how I made the monochrome images in the year 2000, around about the year 2000. And I kept them, they were exhibited, two were exhibited in the Royal Academy Summer Show for around, I think, the year 2008 or so, and subsequent years. And one that's in this exhibition, in its monochrome guise, was exhibited in the Victoria and Albert Museum for 12 months, between 2008 and 2009. So it was very good to have that sort of rubber stamping of my approach to making a photographic image. So after about 8 to 10 years, I went and photographed these same trees. There's about a dozen trees in this exhibition, and in colour. I photographed them in colour, still using colour film, and I had colour contact sheets made, which I cut into individual photographs and started to attach those photographs to the monochrome prints. This is a composition that I think we were referring to that was exhibited in the Royal Academy in its monochrome guise and in the Victoria and Albert Museum. Now, you can see I was referring to adding colour, taking the photographs 10 years later, around about the year 2009, 2010, in colour, and you can probably see, I hope, on screen these different coloured images that have been glued onto the original platinum print. This is actually a platinum print. In some cases, very difficult to see on the screen, I actually cut with a scalpel, I cut out the platinum section and put the colour print behind. So you've got, if you like, a plane of the platinum print, some colour prints behind it, some colour prints in front of it. So it gives it a sort of physicality to it. Again, it's like you might think it's an outrageous thing to do to a platinum print that's cost so much money and taken so much time to make. But I wanted to push those boundaries as far as I could. So you'll see, I was fortunate enough when I had the idea that it was actually in the winter. So it was the same time of year that I went back and initially photographed this tree in colour. So I was looking for ways of integrating very subtly and gently the monochrome and the colour images. One of the things I did with this picture, before we move on to any others, is I thought, I'd said to someone that I couldn't possibly break the horizon line. I could do all sorts of other crazy things, but the horizon line would have to be continuous. So then I thought, well, let's try breaking up the horizon. And you'll see that on the left-hand side, it's one layer above what it is on the right-hand side. But it's actually made a much taller, tighter composition. I think if you can possibly imagine what it would have been like if it was down here, it wouldn't have had that structural integrity that it's got now. So that was the first stage. This is one of the very early ones of adding colour to the monochrome print. Subsequently, I started to photograph other trees in the same way, but also throughout the year, so that some of them contain winter photographs, some contain summer photographs. So this is an example of a tree that has quite a number of colour photographs added to it that were taken over an extended period of time rather than the same time of year as the monochrome image was made. But 5 years after I made and added the colour photographs, I decided I was going to start drawing on the print as well. So you'll be able to see, I used coloured crayons, watercolour crayons as it happens, but without water. You'll be able to see that in quite a lot of areas I've drawn onto the photograph, onto the image, onto the print, as well as adding colour prints, as well as it being a monochrome print. So just to recap, I would have made this monochrome image in the year 2000. Round about the year 2009, I added the colour prints. Around about the year 2015, I started to draw on these prints. So they have a kind of long history of development. So that's a good introduction, I think, to the exhibition. There are more things to be seen, different varieties, different approaches, but you get something of the idea, my idea of trying to make an image that's about the experience of looking at a tree over a long period of time, not just a simple 250th second snapshot of a tree.